Let's go. Let's fucking go.
When you call my name, it's like a little prayer. I'm down on my knees. I wanna take you there in the midnight hour. I can feel your power, just like a prayer.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to my latest movie review, where, as you know, I'm now back, and I'm back to review probably the most popular film out at the moment, Deadpool and Wolverine. Come on, bub. Let's get this over with. So, Deadpool and Wolverine. Technically, Deadpool 3 as well. It's the third movie to feature Deadpool, although it's the first time that Deadpool has been entered into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And same with Hugh Jackman. It's the first time Hugh Jackman as Wolverine has been entered into the Marvel Cinematic Universe. And as we know, Hugh Jackman technically left the role of Wolverine in 2017 with Logan, but was probably persuaded by a big fat paycheck to come back one more time as Logan, although it's probably going to be until he's 90. So Deadpool and Wolverine, the plot of this movie is as follows. Deadpool is offered a place in the Marvel Cinematic Universe by the Time Variance Authority, but instead recruits a variant of Wolverine to save his universe from extinction. So, Deadpool and Wolverine, this movie is hitting that box office, and in a way, I'm really pleased that this film has come out when it has, because cinemas are really struggling right now, and they are having to rely a lot on re-releases to get them by. I mean, the Spider-Man films are back in cinemas to, for that very reason, to give cinemas a bit more of a boost. And there's so much new content now that is on streaming. I'm nothing against streaming, but I would love more new content to just be released in the cinemas, because cinema is the best way to watch a movie. It really is. So as for the Deadpool movies, it's been a while since I've seen the first two, but I have seen them. I remember really enjoying the first one for what it was. Obviously, it really respected the character a lot more than X-Men Origins Wolverine, and Ryan Reynolds was amazing. He came back to the role with a new way of playing it, and he really wanted to, apologize for what they did in X-Men Origins Wolverine. I mean, obviously that wasn't really his fault, but still. And then Deadpool 2 was also very good, I thought. A very interesting film. It was going a bit more sentimental than the first one, which I didn't know if that was going to work because of the comedy, but somehow it did. So now we get this one, which is a bit like Spider-Man No Way Home. This is something I think the fans had really wanted for quite a while. The team up between two iconic characters, and has it paid off? Well, stay tuned and just keep watching to find out. My thoughts on this movie. Deadpool and Wolverine it's great. It's great fun. I think that this movie is hilarious. It's one of the funniest movies in the MCU. It really is just a great time. If you're going to go, you're going to have a great laugh, because I read the room and all the audience were laughing throughout the entire film. It is a hilarious film. The comedy is on point as usual. It just like the first two movies. You really feel that this belongs in that same series, yet also it belongs in the MCU, in that universe. And that's kind of where I'm torn with this film, because while I do like the movie, I think it works well for what it tries to do, I do feel like it suffers a bit from some of the usual MCU cliches that have bogged down the series up to this point. The cameos. Now, I loved the cameos. I mean, yeah, great. Throw the characters in there all you want. It's your universe. Do what you want. But in my opinion, there's a time and a place, and I feel like this movie kind of stopped telling its own story. It slowed down to throw in cameos. I just felt like it kind of tanked the pacing a bit and made the movie a bit too long. Some of the cameos are a bit indulgent. I mean, there are certain cameos that have to be there based on the way that the story ends, which, fair enough, that makes sense. I thought the idea of a cameo was to be a cameo in the background, just a small little taster of one character. A lot of these cameos are actually characters that do a bit more than a cameo would, if you know what I mean. It's like the movie forgot that it was trying to tell its own story and put the cameos front and center, which is not really the way you should do it. So I feel like the movie's kind of indulgent in its own fan service. I feel like that, well, yeah, it's okay to have fan service, and Spider-Man No Way Home, that's a complete fan service movie, and so is most of the Marvel movies are all about fan service. And I love the fact that Marvel respect their fans. I really do. But I just feel like this movie wasted too much time pleasing the fans rather than telling a story. The story for the movie is, it is what it is. The story is nothing, it's nothing groundbreaking. It's not a masterpiece. There is this emotional arc with Wade, Deadpool, played by Ryan Reynolds, who does play the role amazingly. He wants to matter. He wants to do something with purpose, and he wants to, prove to his friends that he does matter, although obviously the story being that he already matters, he just didn't realize it. It's a very loose thread that doesn't really get focused on a lot until the beginning and the end, because in the middle he's just with Wolverine making jokes, as you would expect. So you kind of, in a way, have to go along with the ride for this movie, because the story isn't that involved, really. I mean, the movie does try to hit some emotional points, and it does well with some and not so well with others, I think, and I'll get more on that later. So Ryan Reynolds, as I've said, he's fantastic in this role, and I'm glad he's back. It's been a long time since the second Deadpool, so it feels like a refreshing take, but then at the same time, it is more of the same humor. So if you liked what he did in the first two movies, then it will work for you. Hugh Jackman coming back, brilliant. I mean, I was concerned because of Logan and how were they going to do Wolverine coming back after Logan. And of course, they will explain that this is a new variant of Logan, so it's not the same Wolverine that we saw at the end of Logan. I won't spoil Logan if you haven't seen it, but you get the idea. So Hugh Jackman coming back, brilliant. He plays the role brilliantly well, and he too is dealing with a lot of emotional baggage, where he's kind of lost all his family, and it's kind of ideas that have already been recycled really with him. In Logan, it was just him and Charles that were left, and I feel like this movie kind of copied that in some respects in terms of Logan's character arc for this film. At the end of the day, they needed an excuse to get him in this movie, and they got that. I kind of forgive it in a way, because this movie is just meant to be fun. It really is it's not meant to be a masterpiece. The other characters are serviceable for what they are, but they clearly don't steal the show when you look at the rest of the cast. Matthew Macfadyen as Mr. Paradox, the villain, the British guy in the movie. He's fine. Yeah, he's okay. He's serviceable. Doesn't really, he doesn't stick out to me too much, but I'm happy to say his performance is fine. Obviously, you've got Emma Corrin as well as Cassandra Nova. She does a good job for what she has, but again, as I said, the British cast aren't really that memorable in this movie just because they're overshadowed by the two lead characters, but for what they have to do, they're fine. Then you've got a few others that I won't spoil. You'll see as you watch them. I mean, there's some that are listed in the IMDb cast, but I'll let you find that out for yourself. The movie is hilarious. Like the comedy is brilliant, and it will keep you on your toes. You will laugh a lot, and I think that in that respect, the movie succeeded at what it tried to do. Shawn Levi's direction works for the movie. He kept it consistent with the first two Deadpool movies. I don't think he directed the first two, if I'm correct. I think it was two different directors for the first two. And obviously the Madonna song, the Like a Prayer song, which was used in the trailer, is also in the movie in two different scenes, actually. In the first scene, which obviously is the one in the trailer, you would expect that to be in the movie, and that is in the movie, and my gosh, that is satisfying when you watch that in the film. But then the climax of the film I thought was really good, actually. That was probably my favorite scene of the movie, where Deadpool and Wolverine are trying to hold on to each other and destroy the machine and stop Cassandra Nova, and the epic choral version of the song Like a Prayer is playing, and has some emotional flashbacks. And so I was impressed. I thought, okay, wow, the movie is trying to be emotive. It's trying to have an emotional subtext, even if it is kind of loose. I don't think the story is the movie's strong point at all. Again, it's just too indulgent. The whole MCU cameos and multiverse thing. There's a bit of self-referential humor with the multiverse thing, which I'm glad they are aware of, because the multiverse thing to me is, while it's fine, there are times when it is hard to follow, because it's so many different universes. It's so easy for it to be convoluted, and I'm a bit concerned that Marvel have kind of veered it into this kind of convoluted town, which is hard to get out of. But because Deadpool is now in the MCU, they can poke fun at that, so that kind of works in a way. At this point with the MCU, I'm kind of just with it for entertainment value. I'm not really there for the story anymore. I loved the story of the Infinity Saga, which they tied up with Endgame. I thought all of that whole first few phases were really well planned and really well thought out. Even if not all the movies were great, there was at least an overarching thread that went through. Obviously, because of the Kang situation, Jonathan Mayers, they have to change Kang and remove Kang from the MCU. So they have obviously changed the next two Avengers movies. But rest assured, I'm sure Deadpool will be back in the MCU at some point. Is this movie perfect? No. It definitely isn't perfect. The pacing is really off at times. Again, like I've said, it's very indulgent with its cameos, and it spends a bit too long meandering on with those. But it will make you laugh so much. So go and see it just for the sheer entertainment value. The action sequences are terrific. The car fight is my favorite with Deadpool and Wolverine when they fight in the car. That's brilliant. And also the when they're in the wasteland fighting, that's also really cool. And the again the scene where they play Madonna's song and they slaughter all the different variants. I will say no more than that, because if you haven't seen it, I won't spoil it. That is absolutely kick-ass. And again, like, the villains are serviceable, but nothing groundbreaking. And I think if you're a fan of the MCU, this is going to be for you. If you're an MCU fan, go and see it. If you're an X-Men fan, see it. If you're a Deadpool fan, definitely see it. It has a heart, which is great, but it ain't perfect. So I'm going to give Deadpool and Wolverine an 8 out of 10. It's a solid, hilarious movie that will keep you entertained, but it's far from a masterpiece. But this isn't the last we'll see of Deadpool, I'm sure of it. As for whether it's the best of the Deadpool movies, I'm not sure yet. I'll have to watch the first two again, but my feeling, I think, with the Deadpool films is that they're very much on even keel. I'm not sure. This one might have the edge over the others. We'll have to wait and see. But as of now, it gets an 8 out of 10. So that's my review of Deadpool and Wolverine. What do you think of this film? Please comment down below. Let me know. And please hit the like and subscribe button for more reviews and stuff. And stay tuned next time. I'm Pajak's Perspective. See ya.